Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome TiEcon 2014 Media Lounge Chair, Harbir Bhatia.
Hi, welcome. I was just finishing checking the lighting because it's my job to make sure you look good. I'm Harbir Bhatia, the Media Program Chair. Last year, we launched the Media and Press Lounge, and it was such a success. And now it's back to become a permanent part of the program. We connect media and press to speakers, to our industry leaders, to our startups, to our sponsors, and all of you from inspiring stories to spread across the airways and beyond the conference walls. Who wouldn't benefit from getting key industry insights, thought leadership, and maybe find the next great idea? Here, our dedicated media partners and Thai TV Light Studios produce professional videos. And lastly, a very important component is social campaigns to be the trending topic online. Do you have a great story, an idea, or an experience that could benefit all? If you do, join us at the Media and Press Lounge. Learn, connect, and prosper at TiEcon 2014.
Welcome, everyone. So we've had an amazing day today, so I won't keep this too long. But as you've heard, we have had the Media Lounge now for the second year in a row, and it's been amazing so far. Today we've had Thai 50 finalists, speakers, innovators, and a lot of you actually are attendees, as well as members from the global chapters come by and share your stories. So thank you for doing that, and we hope you'll enjoy them on Thai TV Lite, on Thai TV, and our partners. So as I said in the video, if any of you have an inspiring story or an experience from being an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, a founder, a startup, an idea, we'd love to talk to you. So please come by tomorrow between 10 and 6. We're at the entry of the Expo Lounge. So before I go further, you've all been waiting for the next speaker. So I'd like to introduce to you his moderator. So the CEO and chairman of Cognalytics is Gary Goba, and many of you may remember him. He was actually a board member, as well as a previous convener for multiple years. He has been a senior executive, a serial entrepreneur, and advisor for almost over 20 years. And he's launched many successful companies. He has played key roles in building brands and directing and guiding successful startups. So let's give a warm welcome to Gary Goba.
Thank you. Thank you, Harbir.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you for the warm introduction, and it's good to be back. It gives me a great pleasure to introduce Steve Lucas. Steve is the global president for SAP Platform Solutions, responsible for the go-to-market teams, strategy and execution for big data, analytics, advanced analytics, and mobility. Steve has been with SAP, I would say, over 16 years, if I count his tenure at Business Objects. And over the last few years, has been laser-focused towards transforming SAP as a de facto leader in big data, advanced analytics, and the mobility area. Prior to SAP, Steve worked at Microsoft and Salesforce. Without any further delay, please join me in welcoming Steve Lucas.
Hello. Gary, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. And before you go, I want to thank you for the opportunity to let me be part of this and be here with you. I've dreamt of this moment always.
Likewise.
And here we are. Here we are. It's a big day for me.
Likewise.
Thank you,
likewise,
Gary.
Steve.
All right,
Thank
we'll
you.
get rolling and we'll talk in a few minutes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Hi, everyone. I literally cannot see anything right this moment. These lights are literally burning out my retinas right this second, but I know you're there because I can hear you. And I'm starting to see the front row now. Hello. So my name's Steve Lucas, and as Gary said, I'm the president of the platform group at SAP. And you may be thinking, what the heck is that? Because SAP, as far as you might know or might think, is not the company that should be speaking at a conference for startups or on innovation, right? That's the company that we at least knew with SAP. But I'm here today to share with you not a commercial for SAP, but a journey that we've been on. Some of the decisions that we've had to face over the last decade are decisions that you all face too. We all have these in common, they're just different size companies. And those decisions are things like, are we relevant? And if we're not, how can we be relevant? Or how can we innovate more? How can we grow? How can we beat the competition? How can we create products that are so compelling that they will stun you long enough to buy them? So we think about that all the time. And the point is that I want to share with you those messages through this theme of creating advantage through innovation. And a little bit of a timeline, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. This is just a brief history of SAP and the evolution that we've gone through. And if you think about the company that was founded 42 years ago, one of our co-founders, Hasso Plattner, is still the chairman today. And it's been an amazing journey. And people might say, wow, you're an old software company. Isn't that exciting? But the reality is that old software companies are the best software companies. I'm sorry, but if you look at companies like Apple and Microsoft and SAP, and heck, I'll even put IBM in there, they're pretty exciting. Although they got the blue suits with the thing and all that. But the reality is that those are the best because we have heritage. We have history. We have context. And we love IBM. We love Microsoft. Heck, we even love Oracle from time to time. The reality, they're like your crazy cousin. You don't know what to do with them, but they're over there. The reality is that all these companies are great companies, and I kind of poke fun, and we accept, being poked fun at as well. These are all great companies, and all of you are as well. This is a small industry, and we couldn't get by without each other. That's the reality of it. And if you think about the evolution of SAP, for the first, what I'll characterize as circa 32 years of our existence, or 30 years of our existence, we were an applications company. And we solved problems that I believe maybe only Germans can obsess so much over solving to some degree. That's my plea. I hope this is not broadcast on the internet or anything weird like that. But the reality is, and I mean that, and I say that with love and deference to all of my German colleagues, but they have the most brilliant engineers, or some of the most brilliant engineers, and Hasso was one of those that obsessed and delivered a system unlike any other. He innovated in financials. He innovated in system automation, supply chain, enterprise resource planning. The brilliance of those engineers and the passion of them when SAP was just a startup turned it into a multinational, 65,000 employee company that changes the way in many respects that companies operate. And I love that about SAP. I love our heritage, and I love who we are. But we knew somewhere around the year 2005, 2006 that the world had changed. We had made the fundamental decision that the internet was not a passing fad. We had observed this, and we needed to act. We knew that we needed to be more than an applications company. We needed a platform. And why we knew that was because we felt, and it was one of those moments that every company has, where you looked very closely in the mirror at who you were and said, we need to be more than who we are. And so we decided to become not just an applications company, but a platform company. Now that happened both inorganically. We acquired a company called Business Objects in 2007. I come from that company. I am an acquired taste. I highly doubt SAP would have actually ever hired me, but here I am still. And the reality is that it set SAP on a journey to become not just a company that delivered ERP and supply chain, but also delivered platform technologies like analytics from Business Objects, a database platform from companies like Sybase that we acquired, mobile technologies, and of course, something that I'm going to share with you in a minute, which is HANA. Now, there is no such thing as an SAP presentation without us saying HANA. We would not be buzzword compliant if we didn't say it at least 57 times, and I'm only 3 into it right now. So everybody buckle down. We're going to say HANA a lot in just a minute. But the reality is that we know after we transformed the company, and I'll share that journey with you in a moment, from an applications company to applications and platform, we knew we had to be more than that again. And the internet, cloud computing, Internet of Things, all of these things have completely reshaped the computing landscape. And we know that. And both organically as well as through acquisition, again, we've decided to transform the company into a cloud-oriented company that delivers the best industry solutions end-to-end that anyone can run their business with. And we're committed to doing that. We are committed to transforming the company. We have defined and redefined this company over 4 decades because of the great leadership of people like Hasso Plattner, Bill McDermott, and yes, brilliant people like Vishal Sikka as well. And that is the history of SAP. Now, the history of SAP is not just something where you can sum it up where, well, they kind of got into a little trouble, so they went out and bought a bunch of companies. The history of SAP is so much more, and we had one of those moments, and I know everybody in this room has experienced this. It's that moment that I talked about where we looked at ourselves in the mirror, and it was a very entrepreneurial moment for a 65,000 employee company when we said, we know we need to be more. But we made an observation about this, about the market that we were in. And here's the observation that we made. The observation that we made was that when you're solving business problems for a company, whether that's selling something or keeping track of employees, HR or CRM, no matter what it is, there's some pretty common things that we had noticed, thematically speaking, over the last 35 years of our existence. And those were, number one, gosh, you have to store information, and you have to be able to retrieve it very, very quickly. But not only do you have to store the data, you need to ask questions about the data, things like, what happened yesterday or last week or last year? So you need to analyze it. And once you've analyzed what happened yesterday, of course you need to know what you think is going to happen tomorrow. So you need to budget and plan and forecast. And of course, in the world that we live in today, there's no way that you can operate with all of these machines and sensors generating information and mobile devices without sensing and understanding data as well. And then last but not least, you need to share it in real time. Now, much like, there's a Moore's Law where we talk about the number of transistors doubling every 18 months. My law is that the patience level of a human being has an inverse relationship with the screen size that you're using, I believe. So what I mean by that is the smaller the screen size, you're actually not more patient, you're dramatically less patient. So I'm assuming if you ever get a watch, you'll be incredibly like a no insult to anyone that uses smartwatches, but like an actual useful one, then your patience level will be really, really small. Now, someone from here is probably like, oh, I'm from Pebble and I'm leaving right now. Forget this guy. Oh, I forgot my clicker over here. This is the important part about this. We fundamentally observed all of these things, but here's the observation that we discovered. We discovered that every single one of our customers had all of these things already. They already did. Why would we want to resell those things to those customers? But what we knew was that those things came from 3, 4, 5 different vendors, and they were 7, 8, 9 products to do all of this. And what we found was that customers were spending time integrating, not innovating. And for all of us in this room as startups, or as rapidly maturing software or consulting organizations, we don't want to spend our time integrating. We should be innovating at orders of magnitude faster than what the market moves at right now. You have to move quickly. You have to innovate more. And so we drew a box around these technologies, and we said we believe we can redefine how enterprise software applications are built. Now, when we did that, when that bold proclamation came out from our then Chief Technology Officer, Vishal Sikka, as well as our co-founder, Hasso Plattner, and chairman, people said SAP was crazy. They said we couldn't do it. Why would SAP want to build something called HANA that was an in-memory database? Did the world need another database? And you know what? There were scary moments. I remember sitting down with our CEO of the company, and I remember sitting down listening to Hasso and really wanting to believe him until he told me how much the quota was going to be. And then I was terrified. But I did it anyway, probably out of a little bit of naivety. But I remember him saying, Steve, we can change the world. And you know what? I got to say, and this is just that commentary, not that commercial. We put our minds to it. We said we believe there's a better way to build enterprise applications. One in-memory platform that does all of these capabilities in one system, one solution. Less time integrating and more time innovating is the key theme of HANA. And 4,000 customers later, and remember, we launched SAP HANA 3 years ago. We did roughly $1 billion in license revenue last year on HANA. So we went from 0 to a $1 billion idea in 36 months. Now that's not a pat on the back for SAP because there were scary times. There absolutely was a lot of scary times. But we believed that we could do something new and unique, and now we have companies and customers coming to us saying, wow, there's so much that I can eliminate out of my existing architecture, so much that I thought I had to integrate because I was told that I needed this database and I needed this analytics tool just to build my new cloud application. And we were able to change their minds, and that, for me, it drove an unbelievable sense of satisfaction. And I know for all of you, the innovators out here, and most all of you, if not all of us, are innovators at heart, you are doing the same thing. And we hope that those moments, those decisions that we've had to make to define or redefine the company can inspire you as well. And we'd love to share more detail on how we did that. So we're very excited about some of those things. Now, obviously, with SAP, if you think about what kind of company we are today we have over 200,000 customers. Today, we give you new platform technologies like HANA so that you can build your own application on it if you choose to. And of course, we have cloud solutions like SuccessFactors and Ariba that are really defining for SAP the next generation of how solutions should be given and delivered to our customers to delight them. So that's SAP today. But our vision is very clear. Our vision is to be what we call, or we say, is the cloud company powered by HANA. Now, to be clear, it doesn't mean that we're the only cloud company. We're not that self-centered, like we're the cloud company, forget everybody else. That's not it at all. But rather what we believe is that we need to be the business cloud company, the one that customers come to for that end-to-end integrated experience, all in the cloud, where they can run their entire business from their phone. And of course, built with the best platform that we believe is now on the market with SAP HANA, that next generation platform. So this is who we believe we are, and this is what we aspire to be. Now, for any company, whether you're big or small, without this kind of vision, without this kind of grand plan and goal, and the passion behind it, it won't be anything. And what I've learned from talking to many of you, not just today at TiEcon, which I can't tell you how just thrilled I am to be here with you, but I learn over and over again that every successful CEO, every successful startup, there's one thing that I've learned they have in common, and that is they have the will to win. No matter what, they have the will to win. I have seen companies succeed. SAP has seen great companies come and go that did not have the will to win. But anyone that succeeded, it was one passionate person or one passionate team or an entire company with an incredible passion that was just this powerhouse driving it forward. And I see that in many of your eyes today, and obviously in knowing many of you. Now, before we bring Gary back out onto the stage, I want to talk for a few minutes about how we can change our view of the world from being a big company that serves other big companies to being a nimble, innovative company that can serve anyone or make anyone's life better. And the reality is you cannot do that alone. You can have the most innovative technology in the world, no matter what you think it is, and I'd like to think that HANA, while I won't commit hubris and say that it's the most innovative technology in the world, it is a very innovative technology. You can have these beautiful, great things, but if you don't have a strategy that leverages the brilliant people around you, your community, the people that care about your customers, if you don't let 1,000 flowers bloom around you, if you don't do that, then you'll lose. It's very simple. And we've had to learn that lesson the easy way sometimes, and a lot of times the hard way. And we've recommitted ourselves. This is something that our founder, Hasso Plattner, believes in. This is something that our CEO believes in, that we have to recommit ourselves to being a great company that serves the aspirations of other great companies, other great visionaries. And so we started a startup program around SAP HANA, which I think is great because it really represents the renewal of the company. And so far, we've signed up over 1,300 startups. And of course, there's one that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But think about this for a minute. All of these startups have amazing, brilliant developers powering these companies. They're passionate. They see something beautiful and amazing and exciting. And what we've been able to do or share with them is that we believe they can get to their vision faster by using this new technology, SAP HANA, than they could with any other platform that they might start to build upon. We believe HANA is their rock. Now, we've had to change how we've thought. We've had to change how we communicate with developers. And as we've done that, we've seen success with 1,300 startups now working with us in the startup program. Now over 100, I should have updated, it was 87. Over 100 solutions now live and available, not just in the SAP marketplace, but out there, and unbelievable innovation. And one of those great companies, Gary, if you could, thank you very much. Gary, if you could join me, Gary?
There you go.
So can everyone, I don't thank Gary enough. Can everyone clap for Gary just because I love Gary? So Gary is one of those, Gary actually, before we actually started the HANA Startup Program, you actually came to us and said you wanted to start building your solution on HANA. And I have to say, since he was basically the first one, there was this moment of, you do? Okay, that's cool. And that was awesome because it was the beginning of the inspiration for us on driving this startup program. So I think you've really shaped a lot of what has gone into that HANA startup program. And Cognalytics, what it does, and Gary will, have to forgive me for not doing the best of jobs, but is to take information from your financial systems, for example, to take information from your banking systems, your transaction processing systems, and to create unique insights and new discoveries in ways that, frankly, without HANA, based on existing infrastructure, just weren't even achievable 5, 10 years ago, or even 2 years ago. So we love that. Now, Gary, I want to thank you again. And I know you and I have a little, we're going to talk for a few minutes. So I'm going to turn the mic virtually back over to you.
No, thank you, Steve. This was an amazing, amazing keynote. And I think you gave a lot of tips to the emerging entrepreneurs and the growing entrepreneurs as well. There's some interesting things you were talking about, right? Advanced analytics, how HANA is a real-time platform. So quick question for you. What happened to Denver's last year Broncos? Huh?
Yeah, so that's bad because I live in Denver. Okay, I have 2 issues with this. One is I live in Denver. 2 is I tweeted the prediction of the Super Bowl, which was going to have Denver winning. And really, honestly, if you think about it for a minute, and I'm not making excuses, but Seattle really only scored 2 times when they got the ball themselves. So I just want to be clear that every other time it was basically Denver's fault. We've revamped our defense. There's no way the 49ers are even going to make it to the Super Bowl. No offense to everyone in the crowd. I know you're not supposed to. I know that the #1 rule of presenting is not to piss off your audience, so I just.
No, I think truly what happened, Steve, was they had Bloody Mary before they went to the Super Bowl, right?
Yes.
August 17th, 1 p.m., preseason, Levi Stadium, 4-point spread. We're going to beat Denver. I know they're beefed up, but we are taking Denver out.
I cannot wait to see that. That will not happen. Keep going.
All right. So Steve, I understand you'll be turning 42 next month.
You mean the company or me?
I meant to say company.
Yes, the company. SAP will be turning 42 next month.
So if you look at the last 4 decades, major transformation, and you had a slide up there, right? And it's amazing, right, that journey, right? As you stand here today, right, you have a legacy install base. At the same time, you are driving the transformation and innovation, right?
Yep.
Truly becomes an innovator's dilemma, right? So how are you coping up with all those elements, right? And you talked about SAP is truly in a startup mode, right? Mm-hmm. And how's that entrepreneurial spirit, right, being ignited within SAP, the 60,000 workforce, right, to drive and truly be the de facto leader out there?
Well, I think really any entrepreneurial spirit or the will to win that I talked about is first sparked with innovation, mm-hmm. Or the concept of. You really have to have something that you can rally around. That's #1. But #2, and I will say this, is you can have the greatest product in the world, but if you don't care about your customers and care about their success, it really doesn't matter. And the one thing I will say about SAP is we have many of our customers, and we have over 200,000, I think it's over 230,000 customers. We have customers that have been with SAP for 42 years. 42 years. That to me is amazing. It's a customer for life. And there's a lot of powerful lessons in there. And it's like, you know, any other marriage. I've been married 20 years, and you know, there are times where you've realized that I just said this incredible stupid thing and I wish I could pull it back, and my wife's Italian and she never lets that happen. But the reality, Gary, is that it is as much about caring for your customers and caring for their success deeply as it is about the technology itself.
And fair. So now, as a follow-up question, right? You talked about the HANA Startup Focus Group, right?
Yes.
It's an amazing job what SAP has done in terms of encouraging, right? So how do you see that journey evolving, right? As you are getting into the remainder part of 2014 and beyond, right? It would be good to for the audience to hear about that.
Well, we want to make all of our technology just ridiculously and simply available to startups. That's it, first and foremost. So that means for developers, having access to free developer license and test licenses. That means doing things like taking our flagship system, HANA, and putting it on Amazon's infrastructure for 99 cents an hour. That's what those solutions mean, and those are things that we've done. So Gary, it's about making it available for developers to be able to drive those 1,000 flowers blooming.
Great. I think it was Steve Harbaugh calling for you, huh?
It's Jim, yes.
His brother was getting more upset, right?
I don't like either of the Harbaugh brothers, though, because, and I have an issue with this. I know we're going to degrade to football again, but Denver got thumped the previous year from from Baltimore, which sucked as well. So we gotta work this out.
Cool. So, in interest of time, Steve, what would be the 3 key messages, right, which you would leave the entrepreneurs and the emerging entrepreneurs and broadly the audience out here, right, as we wrap up the keynote?
Well, clearly one is, as I already stated, and we won't get into it in detail, is focus on your customers and delighting them. I mean, everything starts and ends with that as far as I'm concerned, number one. Number two is that you can innovate your way out of any challenge or any situation. The times when SAP has had its back up against the wall, when we've been threatened by the competition, when we've needed to find new ways to break through, we've found through our brilliant engineers that innovation is the way. And then number three, and this is probably nearest and dearest to my heart, is from a developer standpoint, is whether you are a startup and you have amazing developers, or you're looking for amazing developers, we've learned that there is an incredible amount of power in building a community around the people that create solutions. There's no way that SAP can solve all of the problems that customers have in business applications. We cannot do it. And Gary, what's happened with Cognalytics is exactly what makes me believe that developers are the path, that innovators are the way, and we need to continue to make those key investments.
Great. So Steve, on behalf of TiEcon, volunteers, participants, I want to personally thank you for making the time. I know you are all over America this week.
Yes.
And we want to make sure you don't miss your flight. You're out at your kids' basketball game tomorrow, or
That's
soccer?
Right. That's right, basketball.
So with having said that, I want to again thank you.
Gary,
really
thank you.
appreciate
And
you
thanks
coming
everyone,
down.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Oh.